All right, guys. That's right. Another Patches mod game here for Patch Clash 9. We're going to be casting at least 3 or 4 of these in a row here on the channel. Just as a little aside, for anyone's like, oh, so are you done casting live game? You only cast mod? No, not at all. Obviously, it's just this mod is fantastically fun. And I was casting it on and off, you know, just little bits here and there for the last year and a half anyway. So no reason to stop. Obviously, Patches prefers the 12 worker start. That's fine, but he's kept the mineral change. Was this mineral... Can you guys tell me? I'm not sure if Patches is still in chat. He was here earlier. Was this your mineral change before the live version? And did they copy it from you? Because I always get confused because they you know, or did you just go, oh no, that's like cool enough. I kind of like that change. So I'll keep what they did with the recent patch. I'll adjust mine to be the same as theirs. Let me know. I'm really curious. Anyways, it's going to be a 2 racks opening here for ByuN. So 2 racks Reaper guys up against Hatchery first. Remember, when you get to 3 lava, your hatchery keeps producing. You can have 4 lava per hatchery. Also, a lair and then a hive both produce lava much quicker than a normal hatchery. So you naturally get a bit more lava as the game goes on as a Zerg. But your queens are much worse at defending ground units. Especially 2x Reaper could be really problematic. Now, I've realized here, I wasn't expecting Reapers. I should have looked up into the Reaper upgrades on this patch beforehand. I think there's a special Tech Lab Reaper upgrade where they get like bonus damage against buildings or something. Or maybe their grenades do more damage and have less cooldown. I know there's some more powerful, crazy things you can do with Reapers. But on the base level, even without weird Reaper upgrades, let's just imagine the Reaper's exactly the same, guys, as the old 32-second Reaper. None of this 34-second Reaper business. The queens can't defend it on their own. You're meant to go roaches against this, in my opinion. That being said, there is a slight movement speed buff to Zerglings on creep before Ling speed is finished to help deal with things like this. But I know most Zerg players are used to defending the queens and Zerglings. And I think, you know, the rude awakening you might get is, especially if this was like proxy 3 racks Reaper, you need to immediately go into roaches because queens will not beat these Reapers. 8 Zerglings on the way, hiding a drone out there ready to take a 3rd base. Remember, queens only do 5 damage a hit, down from 8 in the live version of the game. They will not do well against these Reapers. Zerglings taking some damage. Nice micro so far, and he does back off. But these Reapers, especially if you commit hard, could bully. So far, though, only 3 Reapers. Does he build a 4th one? He's about at 50 gas. This is the important moment. Reapers. Ooh, they're getting good damage on the queen. You can see she does no damage, man. There is a ramp here, though, so this is one of the easier maps to defend this on. But look at how much she tickles. She tickles these boys. But it's only going to be 4 Reapers, guys, so it's not a big commitment. And Solar, I mean, his Link speed would have kicked in anyway, and he was building extra Zerglings, so I think he was playing safe enough. If he wasn't building the Zerglings, probably would have been in trouble. Ooh, Reaper Grenade to take out the Creep Tumor. Forces an Evo block there to save the drone and make it harder for the Reapers to chase those units down. That Queen does take a bit of damage. Zerglings, a little bit faster on Creep. And that 4th Reaper does arrive. 3rd Command Center is on the way. Factory comes down here for ByuN as well. And, ooh, gotta be careful with these Queens. They're starting to take a lot of damage. And going 4 queens, not a terrible opening for Soul. It does hold on. You can use these for injecting, for spreading creep, same as always. And they've still got fantastic anti-air. Obviously, once Evo Chamber comes in, you can transform these into Swarm Queens for 50 minerals a pop. It will give them back their 1 base armor, which they don't have in this patch from the start. It also puts them from 5 to 12 damage versus ground, but it makes them a bit worse versus air units. So it's powerful, but it also does come with downsides. There is a later upgrade you can also get, so those Swarm Queens do create creep spread as they move around the map. So that makes it really powerful in late game, where you just always have 1 or 2 Swarm Queens with your army, and you just throw creep down as you move around the map. Chat says, the Concussive Shell upgrade grants slow. The Tech Lab upgrade is bonus to buildings and light units. Ooh. Watch out, Reaper and Hellion here, dancing back and forwards. Sorry, guys, just reading. There's, yeah, don't know why you guys are talking about concussive shells. So you guys saying there's a separate? Isn't concussive the normal upgrade? I don't know. Sorry. Twitch chat are very bad at explaining things. I should not ask questions. Here we go. Reaper Hellion rotating around. 4th base coming up. Hatcheries down south, guys. Double engineering bay just came in. It's going to have good upgrades behind it. 4th hatchery is there as well. Oh, the creep spreads really quickly off the hatchery. Look at that. The way it quickly tried to connect to the other creep. That was interesting. Does creep normally behave that way, guys? Where if you've got other creep joining and then this creep, it like senses the other creep is there and tries to connect itself as quickly as possible? Or was that just random chance? Might have just been random chance. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, Spore Crawler comes in the main. There is going to be just a medevacs, it looks like. So 2 medevacs come forward. Marine Stim, 3rd command center. I don't think there's any big changes here. Keep in mind, Widow Mines have way bigger splash, a better splash range. You can also get drilling claws just off the armory. You don't need to leave a factory on a tech lab to get it. But Widow Mines take longer to build as well. For now, though, it's just Marine Tank. None of these units really have huge differences. Baneling speed will cost more to upgrade. And Solar going to play his very standard style against ByuN here. Bio moving in with the medevacs. He's going to try and focus the hatchery down. Oh, the medevac does pull back. Queens are taking some damage. And that 4th base does go down. Nicely played there. Really nicely played. Lings have forced the 3rd to lift behind it. But that's okay. ByuN's happy to delay mining off of his 3rd. He's getting amazing damage. And that carapace upgrade just a little bit too late there. It's finally going to kick in. Would have been such a good advantage in this scenario. Now, Solar's going to go take this northern base, but that's really hard to defend. I think he should retake this one as well. Solar, though, usually a player who only commits to 1/4 and plays a bit slower to take extra hatchery. So if he loses this one, which ByuN's now rotating to, this could be lights out very early in game 1 of this series. 7 Banelings are up, but Baneling speed is only now started. Remember, that costs 150, 150 now. Oh, it's also, I think, same upgrade timing, though. 79 seconds. So he's got to buy himself about a minute from now before this next fight fully happens. The Marines up top. Oh, look at this. He's going to try and snipe the hatchery and run away while distracting down here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so main army distracts, and look at that. Yeah, Marines do such good damage, and a hatchery, when it's not finished, doesn't have an armor. That 1 armor would have made a world of difference, but without the armor, there's no way. Even with the armor, it would have been tough, and that base going down, part of me feels like he should have stayed focused on this one, but you can see here the Hellbat morphs coming in from that side. 2nd factory on the 3rd. ByuN's pretty chill right now. His 4th and 5th barracks coming up. Does he have an armory? He does have an armory, so he should be going... Oh, yeah, he's got +2 armor, just no +2 attack. Classic ByuN. Going for the upgrades in a bit of an awkward order, as he happens to do most of the time. Marine Hellbat clearing the creep. Solar just taking punches, and it looks like he's losing this game pretty badly. Keep in mind, this is Solar. ByuN is a player whose efficiency can just fall off a cliff sometimes. Solar's a guy who really is a slow burn sort of Zerg. Marine Hellbat Reaper dancing in and out. That siege tank, dude. He should hit that from the high ground with the Hydras, but there's no chance yet. Whoa, Swarm Queens are in. Look at these tanky lasses, guys. Remember these, they're pretty powerful, the Swarm Queen. They have an armor, so they do a lot more damage, 12 damage versus ground. So they actually are pretty decent fighting units, and it's only 50 minerals a pop for each one. So that's actually kind of cool. Started an upgrade and then just cancelled one of the specialty upgrades. The Reapers are up here. That siege tank needs to unsiege and leave right now. I feel like ByuN, he's going to try and just move the Marines forward, actually, to cover it. He says, hey, if your Hydras are going to come forward, I'll deal with it. Meanwhile, he's going to push the north. Wow, look at that. The Marines do get overwhelmed by the Hydras and Queens because the Hydras did overwhelm them. He's going to pick up here and try to dodge the Banelings. Quite a few of the Marines do go down, but that 4th base, oh, you can't afford to lose your 4th Solar. And yet Solar is going to lose that base. This medevac goes down. 4th hatchery up top. It goes down. These Marines need to pick up, and they do at the last second. ByuN is all over this game. He is in an excellent spot. Solar has just been kind of contained. Put in a claustrophobic position. Even there, that's a fine trade for ByuN because ByuN's got a 4th base finished, even though it's not on location and mining. He's got it finished, and there was like an extra 4 Banelings to kill those 5 Marines, which is a perfectly fine trade for the Terran player who's at about 2-to-1 inefficiency. 4th base is now floating out. You do have to mine this gold mineral patch, guys. An amazing 5th base on this map. You've got to actually mine it, of course. Drilling claws is coming in on the armory, as well as vehicle weapons. 2-2 is almost finished for Terran. Plus 2 carapace is already there for Zerg, though, so you do have to show a little bit of respect in that regard. But now that the Widow Mines come in, it gives you a bit more maneuverability with the army. Generally, Zerg doesn't want to fight in these slow zones. Very bad area for them to fight. Incredibly bad. And he's just going to maintain this position in the north, this ByuN. He can always break this rock tower as well to protect that siege tank from the left. Right side, fourth base, trying to rebuild. Hive and Lurkaden trying to come in, but it's not there just yet. The bio overwhelming. Banelings hitting those Marines very nicely. So ByuN's Widow Mines, they build a little bit slower, but they just have a bigger splash radius back to 1.75, guys, which is very nice. That being said, the live version of the game where the Widow Mines fire faster, that change is not there. Basically, all of the new changes from this last patch are just not in this version of the game, in case you guys are wondering. Other than the minerals. Other than the minerals. I think that might be the only one. Zerg can't just spam queens now? No. Queen spam opening was always one of the weirdest parts of StarCraft 2 in terms of it. Something that was, you know, kind of just the default for Zerg is, hey, it doesn't cost lava. They're a generically good combat unit in the early game. They shoot up, they shoot down, they're tanky as all hell. It was a very, it's always been a very like, oh, just commit to this one unit. I think it's, you know, both Greener and Patches have created mods that have interesting ways of getting around that. And they're still a useful support unit, and you can still get more use out of them with upgrades and things, but they're no longer the end-all and be-all that they were for the early game previously. I also love how big and distinctive visually these queens are. They clearly are like, you know, hey, I'm a big fat lady. You better friggin' watch out. Gonna be going for Swarm Queen passive creep generation. That's that purple upgrade, guys. Takes a while, though, 100 seconds, so it's not gonna happen instantly. Hydraling Bane army is good size, but ByuN's army is massive, and Sol is just kind of stuck in his corner. He's been getting punched in the face for the last 10 minutes, and the last 5 minutes, I should say, and now Mass Command Center is coming up behind. Of course, these are 400 mineral command centers, guys. But ByuN's still going to go for a mass of them now that he's maxed out. The Marine Marauder trying to fight. There's no Widow Mines with this army, so not the cleanest engagement for ByuN. His army and the top stims in at the same time. Those tech structures looking real vulnerable, but just goes for the fight on the Marines. And he's going to go for the Lurkaden. That's a crazy choice. To run in that deep and click on the Lurkaden is pure insanity. Man's been traumatized by Solar's Lurkers before. Does not want to let him get that tech up. He knows that a Lurkanitis in his production is one of the few comeback plays that could get Solar back in this game. Marines here stimming in the front at the same time. He double or triple drops even down the bottom. But ByuN is getting sloppy. Yeah, ByuN's seen the Hive Tech coming in. He's going, oh god, I've thrown games from here before. I better get a move on and finish him off while I've still got the advantage. Ironically, I think it's that desperation which is actually leading to him throwing away a lot of units here. This one's a bit of a better trade so far, but does he save the medevacs is the question. Would love to see Abducts there rather than Parasitic Bomb. Speaking of which, he's got a Viper. He abducts, but he forgets to leave the Hydras there. Luckily, ByuN's not watching and the medevac does go down. No Overseer to clean up the Widow Mine. These trades are sloppy. Remember, he was double the efficiency. Now, it's a 3 to 4 efficiency, right? 9,500 to 12,000. He's got Mass Command Centers coming up, but this is a classic ByuN throwing his momentum away in a very inefficient manner. He didn't bring his Widow Mines with his pushes. He left them scattered and his Siege Tank in kind of not the best positions. He pushed on creep with Mass Bio with no Widow Mine or tank support, threw away a lot of units, and gave away his tempo at the same time. Now Solar, a player who's been getting punched in the gonads for the last 10 minutes, is in a situation where he's going to get a 5th. He's going to have a chance to respread creep and reestablish some semblance of control over this game. Now, he's building 3 Swarm Queens. He's building 2 other Queens. He's making 3 upgrades. Solar has a lot of time to recover in terms of like he needs to spend a lot of time recovering. He's still way behind in this game, but ByuN's going to need to show that very patient and technical late game, which he obviously is known for doing sometimes. It's sometimes getting overeager and just throwing his units into the meat grinder. So ByuN's got to chill out here. Got a bit excited. Got to take a deep breath and reset. These queens, you can see, look how fast they spread. Wait, what? I thought it would be a little snail trail. That's insane. Patches, calm down. What is this? I thought it would be a little snail trail and they'd have to put creep tumors on it for it to turn into a real significant spread. This is so good. What? That's crazy how fast they spread creep. Excuse me. Oh my lord. I hadn't really watched it in action. Look at it. Oh my gosh. You just run around and go throw creep tumors wherever you want. Yeah. You should throw it out here in the middle of the map and then fall back and throw it further back. But his whole army's in one position. That tank is still up here from earlier. It's finally going to get jumped on, but he's got no units in the south. This is a big mistake. And another Swarm Queen does get caught out there. Oh, and Solar, I mean, he had a chance to get back in this game. This is not like a super serious push. I feel like this was just a bit of an opportunistic dive, and Solar moved his whole army out of position for a simple double drop and gets massively punished. Loses his 4th, loses a bunch of drones on his 5th. It's a really hard position to engage because he's still got a massive army in the north, more units than he really needs for just a double drop. ByuN's able to trade on him while making mass command center, and this just looks like I think Solar was a bit too mentally damaged from the early game. And he's going to be going down. Now, these ghosts do not have a light tag, guys, but they only have 85 hit points. So they're a fair bit more fragile than the ghosts you might be used to. That being said, I don't think their snipe gets interrupted. They also don't have any buffs on their auto attack. This is the classic 10 damage ghost, plus 10 versus light units. The way it's always been for most of StarCraft 2's history. The Widow Mine! The Widow Mine! I love the way Solar pulled that with the Zergling. Dragged it onto the Reddit point medevac and got the kill there with 3 units inside. Unfortunately, Solar giving up that hatchery, that the chance of respreading creep recovering this game is gone. He should have had his army split half to the south, half to the north preemptively. But I have said for a while, one of Solar's few weaknesses in this matchup is essentially he does group his whole army together in high pressure situations. He will F2 to one side of the map, F2 to the other side. And only once he actually spots you coming from 2 sides will he split his army in many situations. Not always, but quite often, right? It's one of the big ways Clem gets value against him, even when Solar's beating him, is just pull the army to one side, and it's always the double drop stabs in from the other side and gets a big kill. Hatchery gets cancelled and replaced since it was slightly off position. I think this should be a pretty clean finish for ByuN. Changelings coming in. SCVs, tanks, and ghosts should be able to shut that down. You could actually let him unload here if you want to be really cheeky. Have the tanks and the ghost siege there, and then when he unloads, then you click the Nidus Worm and then snipe the lurkers down with a scan. Liberator does get taken out by Viper Hydra. These lurkers are going to go for a dive in on this base. They could do some good damage, but they're not going to have any support, and it of course is a very committed move. He should be throwing a Nidus up either here or here so we can try and evacuate. Good SCV pull away. There's always lots of infrastructure on the third. The third base is never a planetary, so that's why it's a great target for these sort of lurker attacks. But as the libs come in, you gotta get out of there, Solar. Gotta get out of there. Solar's staying way too long. You can't afford these losses. Loses most of those lurkers. I think that's about eight dead lurkers so far this game. Ooh. Tank gets abducted down. Lings and Hydras take care of it. He's got the plus 10 Hydra hit point upgrade coming in here. Ooh, ByuN got, is that faster medevac unload? What's that, guys? What's that upgrade? He's also got a purple knob. I don't know what, can you guys tell me what either of these upgrades are? We'll look those up after the game and show you in the replay, but yeah, plus 10 hit points, malignant creep or whatever it is, where the swarm queens spread creep as they move around. Ling's going to defend the north side. The rocks do come down. I think this allows units to drop like twice as fast out of medevac, something like that. I forget what it's called though. Medevacs also dual heal with Caduceus. So now that they've got Caduceus, it's not only double energy regen, they can also heal 2 units at once, which is absolutely crazy. So medevacs scale very well to late game. Blue Flame, servos, plus 3 armor, plus 2 attack for mech coming in. Libera's not really finding the mark. Are ghosts 2 or 3 supply in this mod, guys? I think they're 3 supply. I could be wrong. Ooh, nice abducts. Solar's looking for damage. Oh, triple lib siege from the north. It's got advanced ballistics. There we go. The tank lib ghost mine setup does scare Solar back on this side, and Solar needs to send his Vipers up north with some Hydras, I think, to deal with this, but doesn't have them there. He's going to go for a Lingbane counterattack. The Siege Tank and the Widow Mine cleaning up a lot of those units. Oof. Some big shots going down. Guys, do these Siege Tanks have an upgrade to do extra damage? I could see like a really different Siege Tank firing animation. It's almost like they're setting the units on fire or something. What is that? That's crazy. All right, Lingbane Hydra coming forwards. The Vipers going to do some abducts on these libs. EMPs start to land a little slow on the EMPs for ByuN. Nonetheless, you need really good trades here because Solar's just lost another 14 workers. The medevac's picking up. Nidus Worm does stub in from behind. You can see those siege tank shots we're talking about, guys. I think that's just a graphical change to make the attack look cooler. I don't think there's any actual difference to how those siege tank shots are landing. But it does look pretty badass, man. I see that attack on my units. I'm freaking out, man. I'm going, whoa, that's scary, brother. Planetary blasting a bunch of those Zerg as well. Hydraling Bane trying to pull away. Ghost sniping the Hydras. Lib's still up here. You got to deal with this, man. Where are the Vipers? Those Vipers need to deal with it. Solar's just ignoring this top base, and that's a real problem. He does have an expansion here. He's still got a few lurkers in the Nidus, but oh, snipes coming in on the south. Hydras, Lings, and Banes all getting sniped down. Another Nidus Worm goes up. The siege tank shuts it down instantly. And that's going to be that, guys. ByuN smothering Solar from start to finish. I do think there was a chance to get back in that. But Solar needed to, especially on a medium, smaller kind of map like Sanctuary, I think he needed to be incredibly tight after ByuN threw those units away in the mid-game, pulling his whole army to the north, losing the southern base, and the mining on this base. He was already behind at that point, and that was just too much to ask. But you can see some nice usage on both sides. Indeed, this is Medevacs unload faster, guys. I'm not sure what this purple upgrade is just yet. Let's take a look. All right, guys, so what I missed there is Concussive Shells is what he upgraded off of Tech Lab Barracks. It's renamed to Concussive Grenades. It additionally grants the KD8 charge a slowing effect for the Reaper. So if you want, you could get a slow. There's also a new upgrade, Enhanced Munitions, but you need a Barracks Tech Lab to upgrade it, and you need a factory. Takes 80 seconds, costs 100, and this grants Reapers a powerful anti-structure attack and increases their basic attack light damage bonus by 3 times 2, so plus 6 damage per Reaper versus light. I mean, Reapers normally don't have a bonus versus light. They just do 2 times 4 damage, guys. So 8 damage plus 6, going from 8 to 14 damage versus light on your Reapers. Really cool. Obviously, though, why are you still on Reapers if you've got a Tech Lab Barracks and a factory? You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. Like, it opens up a chance for you to overcommit to Reapers and then transition them into a unit that's going to slaughter Marines, Hellions, Widowmines, Zerglings. It's going to do decent damage versus Zealots as well. Like, it's kind of a weird thing where you can kind of imagine with this upgrade, if you run like 10 Reapers in a base and Zealots are chasing them, they're actually going to kite down the Zealots. Like, you know, if you have a stack of these, they're going to start like one-shotting Zealots pretty fast. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if it's actually good, but that's really cool. And especially if you get actually a slowing grenade as well, that's really cool. Patches in chat says a comp some people have played is Reaper Cyclone. So they're using the slowing Reaper grenades and the bonus damage and then Cyclones. And it's like this fast kiting composition with slowing grenades. Oh my God, that would be so frustrating to play. It's hard to execute, but very cool. They've also increased the cast range of KD8 charge, the Reaper grenade by 1 from 5 to 6. Okay, that's awesome. It can no longer be targeted on a unit, so now it's easy to be precise because it's going to throw exactly where your cursor's aiming rather than just it selecting a unit and throwing it at the base of that unit. Awesome. All right, guys. Game 2. Solar in the top left side of Old Sun Temple getting the cross map spawn. He'll be happy about that. ByuN, no doubt, will not be as happy in the bottom right. We'll see if ByuN going to do Command Center first because he's loving that on 8 workers on these big 4 maps, but I wonder, yeah, with 12 workers, I mean, it's a good build, always. Command Center first, never a bad build against Zerg, I don't think, but it was never his flavor back on 12 worker, or very rarely. But yeah, no, big 4-player map. I mean, effectively 3 players, because you never spawn horizontal. It's either vertical or cross map. And we'll see how we go. Solar, also doing a greedy build, 17 hatch, 16 pool, probably. Pretty standard stuff, but as expected. He's not really microing his drones. It's a little surprising. You can see they're all going walkabout. He finally fixes it there. Nice. Good job. Good job. And he's going 18. Oh, he's going to go gas before pool as well. Yeah, I think that makes sense on this mod. You want the early Ling speed. Because the queens themselves aren't going to stop Reapers very well. And good chance of Reapers or Hellions or something coming out. Barracks goes down. So it's command center into barracks. Into double gas, no doubt. He could go gas and then second barracks. I'd say that's pretty rare these days. Usually you'll see, yeah, 1 more SCV and then take the second gas. Overlord gets to the top side. He sees no command center, so we'll be pretty sure it's cross map at this point. He'll just confirm by entering the main and seeing no wall off. He'll go, oh yeah, you got to be cross map. It means there's a lot of room. It means it's going to be really hard for ByuN to like press him. Mech is like absolutely an option. I do think mech is an option. I got to admit, guys, I can't remember if there's many mech changes I know that Hellbats have, I think it's an upgrade to do tons of extra damage to shields. So like Hellbat's bio is meant to be much better at clearing zealots. But I don't know about this matchup. So, man, dude, I thought I read all the changes, but like there's so many different things. Yeah, oh man, should I pause this cast? We're gonna pause this cast. Pretend, guys, there's no pause. All right, guys, totally immersion not breaking as we continue this cast here. All right, so Hellbats, guys, have I don't know if we'll see mech at all, but Hellbats have 10 more hit points. They move faster, and they only take up 2 slots in a medevac now. So Hellbats are like just buffed around the whole thing, and Blue Flame gives +5 shield damage, so that's the bonus against Protoss. Looks like 3rd CC will go down here momentarily. There's also an upgrade for Cyclone that kicks in later on. You need an armory before you can get it, and it will give them movement speed boost. That just makes them so the Cyclone's pretty similar to the current Cyclone, but then there's a upgrade that gets it closer to the Hellion movement speed so that late game it scales a bit better and can micro a bit better. Speaking of scaling, they've also changed Cyclone damage in this patch. So, and don't be surprised if he just plays Bio. This is ByuN, guys. Hey, he's playing mech. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, it's the correct call. It's friggin' big map. He doesn't even know if it's vertical spawns, by the way. He's just making this decision because he knows it's going to be a big, long map, by the way. But yeah, the Cyclone's attack is no longer spell damage, so it's affected by armor, but it also scales with upgrades now. So the lock-on damage actually scales really nicely as you get attack upgrades, but if you don't get any attack upgrades, your opponent gets armor, it will fall off, which is cool. Evo Chamber very early for Solar. I think Solar should be thinking about mech. He should be sacking this Overlord through. Problem is, with 2 Marines, if they move over there quick enough, they can deny this, but the Marines are like hiding quite far back, and if they let the Overlord see the second factory, this is a disaster. I think ByuN messed up. He's got to lift the factory and fly it to the right. Hide the factory. Hide the factory. Lift it. Fly it away, bro. Ah, never mind. It's all going to get spotted anyway. Yeah, his Marines needed to be waiting on the edge to have any chance of denying this, or he needed to build his factories further over to the right. Either one of those would have been good. I think this is a tragic mistake because, guys, Solar is now going to all-in you with Roach Queen, or just pure Roach Ravager. So for those who don't know, guys, Solar is actually quite weak to mech if he doesn't know you're going mech. Problem is, the only good mech players tend to use it a lot. Guys like Gummio. Solar knows that they're going to do it a fair amount of the time, almost always scouts it, and once he scouts that you're going mech, or he just assumes you're doing it, he will always kill you with a mid-game all-in. He does not like playing late game against Protoss, he does not like playing late game against mech. He just kills you in the mid-game, and if he knows about it early enough, usually he takes an economic lead, and then just does a crazy Roach Ravager timing. If you're relying on Banshees to defend, he'll bring Queens with it. If you're going pure ground like this, you better build siege tanks pretty early. You could go for Cyclones a little bit, you know, build 4 Cyclones, get Magfield, but interestingly, he cancelled Magfield. I think ByuN should have enough experience against Solar to know this. Like, you have to start tanks now or you're dead. It's going 5 factories, double armory. His factories are idle. He starts tanks. He knows. Okay, he knows. Just 2 Cyclones with no upgrade. This is actually how you have to play this. Solar is so predictable in this scenario. And yet he has an insane win rate with this counter strategy, which is what's so funny about it. He's going to take the hatchery down here. Also mine this one open to get that base open. Carapace coming in, Roach speed. I don't expect any more drones in this game. I could be wrong. He's going to make 4 Swarm Queens. And I'm already wrong, guys. He made 1 more drone. But I expect a huge Roach Ravager all in. You're going to need a nice wedge of tanks in the middle here. Defending the 3rd and the natural. Barracks is going to float forwards to give him some forward vision. Infestation Pit, 2nd Evo and more drones. It's cross map, and Solar decides to not all in. What is this? And what would he use Hive Tech for, guys? I see a lot of people play against mech. Raynor loves to rush Hive against mech. Makes adrenal glands. Nothing else. Maybe a Viper or 2. Raynor's the man who will play Ling Ravager against mech for 30 minutes against Maru and take him on in toe-to-toe, which I think is one of the most insane decisions ever. But when you've got Raynor's micro, you can sometimes pull that off. Oh, he's going Rapid Expulsion. So Ravager Biles will come down much quicker, guys. The land reduces the land delay for Ravager Corrosive Bile. Very cool. Tank count's growing, 4th command center is on the way. As long as ByuN keeps making upgrades in command centers, it's kind of good. The problem you're going to have for ByuN is 4th base is there, but then where's your 5th, right? Even your 4th is stretched out. Your 5th is going to be here probably. And then you kind of just have to focus everything on trying to secure this bottom left corner of the map. But counterattacks on the right side are going to be really hard. You don't want to expand to 2 different directions at once. I see a lot of Terran do this. They go here, 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 here. And it's basically just giving the Zerg the pick of the litter. They're like, oh, which undefended base do I want to kill for free? Like, it gives them such easy trades. So as a Terran, you got to be very focused on basically locking down one corner of the map and then trying to have like an extra planetary and a few tanks or something to guard against counters on the other side. It's if you can get to the middle and control the tower, that's nice because it does limit Zerg's movement, but that's very hard to do on such a vast map. He's going to scan the main base. He sees the hives on the way. Neuroparasites coming in burrow, and we've also got that creep upgrade, guys. Subdermal creep follicles. That's one where those queens will spread creep as they move around. So he's going to go for a mixture of a few swarm queens to get creep everywhere. Cover the entire map in creep. Roach Ravager with some faster biles, though roaches aren't going to scale too well. Banelings mixed in to help clear hellbats and things. Good idea. And then I guess the Neuroparasite Infestors obviously can be game-winning if the Terran doesn't realize you're going for them. If they realize, it's very hard to catch Terran off. Ooh, speaking of which, what about Ravens to spot those burrowed Infestors, guys? What does the Raven do? Oh my God, I can't remember what Patch's Raven is like. Ooh, that might actually be important. I didn't think it would be important for this matchup. But I guess I should have researched. It's super changed. It's the repair drone Raven. Do you need a tech lab for it? I think it's still a tech lab Raven, right? I know you had like, it was able to spam auto turrets before, was really nice. It is a no tech lab Raven. Okay. Guys, bifurcated incubation. Roaches are going to become 1 supply. I forgot about it. I've won a lot of games against mech on this mod with this upgrade where roaches are so bad at this stage of the game. But suddenly, if they only cost 1 supply, they're not that bad. Now, problem, Ravages are 3 supply. Same as always, which is even worse on this mod, though, because you think about it, these 7 Ravages are going to be 21 supply. The 16 Roaches are only 16. So you can understand, every Ravager is an immense drain on your supply. Infestors over here. Baneling's trying to roll forwards. The Infestors pop up. They're looking for the fungal. This is a really interesting situation. You can try and roll some Banes into the 3rd. Oh! Terrible micro for ByuN! ByuN, what are we doing, mate? Also, this middle of this map is usually a no-go zone. Speed zones are really good for Zerg and really bad for Terran, usually. So it's kind of crazy that ByuN's trying to bully Solar off the middle of this map. I thought he would just avoid it, but he's going to try and fight for it. Roach 1 supply upgrade's not there yet. Banelings get 15 SCVs! Holy moly! He does F2 his army over there. A few Lings coming in from behind. The Hellions should be able to deal with that. Cyclone's tanking decently there. 2-2 upgrades are almost done for the mech, by the way. The tanks, will they see these roaches? Yes, they will. Dude, those tank shots look so cool. It really makes you fear it more, doesn't it, when you see those tank shots land? Oh my god. Oh my gosh, the Roach Ravager takes some big damage. The fungal biles are okay, but these Ravagers are getting jumped on. Solar's got to be kind of careful here. That being said, ByuN's going to take a bit longer to remax than Solar is. Biles come down really quickly. The Infested Terrans, remember, those cost 20 minerals each, guys. Those are not free units, so you got to be really careful, but they don't cost supply. So they are powerful in the lack of supply, but they aren't free. Mass Command Center's coming in. ByuN's going to try and expand north. He should focus all of his expansions there, and he should try to reinforce this base with the Planetary Fortress, in my opinion. Queens are getting pushed back. The Infestor Lingbane Ravager as well. That queen does take some big damage. Oh, the Swarm Queen's starting to go down. Remember, these are your mobile creep platforms. It'd be really nice for him to have spread some around the corners of the map and already have creep on these bases. But Solar's not quite used to that. If you just have a queen just wander around, pooping creep tumors there and there, on a big 4-player map like this, you can just completely restrict your opponent's movement. Now, guys, there's a bunch of upgrades that have come in here for ByuN. He's actually got the Tankivac upgrade, but he doesn't have any Medivacs, so that doesn't matter yet. He's building Medivacs now. The thing is, when you pick up a siege tank into a Medivac on this patch, it will put it back in tank mode. It'll take it out of siege mode, so you can't keep picking it up and dropping it constantly in combat. But he does have the upgrade for it. He's getting the speed upgrade for the Cyclone since he doesn't have that yet, and he wants the mobility because it's such a big map. It's hard to deal with these Banelings. These Banelings causing him problems right now. A lot of the SCVs go down on that base. These tanks in the middle are slowly dealing with the rally, but not completely. He really needed to have some tanks spread across these bases rather than just on that forwards ridge. And this is a huge attack. Look at how many roaches there are. 28 roaches on the map. He's only at 175 supply. The one supply roaches, man. The one supply roach upgrade is such a good turning point in late game on this mod. It allows the Zerg to swarm in the late game with those less efficient units, but having so many more of them. Roaches getting in that base. ByuN's losing too many SCVs. He's got a lot of command units. If he just had 2 or 3 tanks spread over here, I think this would be a totally different situation. Chadhammer and her buddy over there, 34 kills on one, 18 on the other. The Lings are finally going to jump on top. But, oh my god, they are struggling. There's not enough because they're clumping around the corners. And even Chadhammer's sidekick, her work experience student, do end up getting taken, getting some good damage there. So she's on 44 kills, 21, 15, 44, and 24. Wow, that's a lot of kills. But the economy damage is real. Solar doesn't have a huge bank. Remember, he's not able to max right now. You actually need 105 drones sometimes if you're going to keep trading sloppily. Like, this is something that I learned the hard way playing this mod as well. Same situation where I was like, I got a huge economy. Building roaches on 90 drones already feels crazy. But then they're one supply roaches and you realize you can build so many of them. You actually need an immense economy to keep it up. ByuN supply is still very scary. The Cyclones now have the Hurricane thrusters. They move a lot faster. He's got some really nice upgrades. He's also got the upgrade which makes the siege tanks do less damage to friendly fire. 75% less friendly fire from siege tanks, which is going to be really big. Often in the late game, a lot of Zerg catching tanks on their own is running Zerglings on and making the tanks shoot their own units. But 75% less splash damage friendly fire is actually a huge reduction. It's that nice campaign upgrade. The other one is magnetic hulls, allows you to pick those siege tanks up if the medevacs do start doing that at all. ByuN's back to a new base. He's on 70 workers. Remember, these mineral lines do take a bit longer to mine out. Hellion Cyclone coming on this side. He's going to scan, clear out the creep tomb. He's got to be careful to not get surrounded. So you could try to lock onto the hatchery and then run away, or you could just be like, nah, he's going to be here, get out of here, and I think that's the right call. Hellion Cyclone on both sides of the map simultaneously. There's no infestors out there right now. Hard for Solar to get spellcasters in position for this sort of stuff. The Biles are very quick, remember, and getting used to the cadence of dodging those is so different. Biles do take out a Hellion as well. Man, you got to love all the just creativity with all these changes. 3 Hellbats load up. They're going to go for a little drippy-droppy. That's going to be very annoying for him to deal with. Those Lings go down, and look at this. I don't know why we've got 2 medevacs. Probably only need 1, but it is what it is. There's a lot going on right now. ByuN Cyclone, Hellion dancing around the map. He's got those medevacs still just idling. Could maybe get Corrosive Bile down. Vipers, of course, can abduct siege tanks. That's been reverted, thankfully, in the live version of the game as well. Ooh, new upgrade coming in for Zerg. I don't even know what that one is. Cyclone's getting a cool lock on. What is that, guys? Oh, he's getting the Ostoderm growth. That makes Swarm Queens have +2 armor. That will help against the Magfield Cyclones. It's mostly against Marine Marauder if you're committing heavily to Swarm Queens. I think Solar's kind of just clicking all the upgrades as he's not quite used to this mod. Spores and Roaches clean up the Hellbat drop over there. These Roaches, Ravages, Banes getting cleaned up. He should keep a few Swarm Queens. Like I said, keeping a few Swarm Queens spreading creep in these corners and replacing them constantly. Hard to get used to, but it's such a big boost. Creep spread is, of course, so massive, especially against a mobility-focused comp like this. The Cyclones are one of the units that can actually use the speed zones to their favor. And you can see the lack of friendly fire with that siege tank upgrade from the campaign. Really nice there for the Terran player. So one supply Roaches obviously are struggling right now. Units lost tab still 6,000 in Terran favor. Spy is coming in now. One of the best upgrades in late game is actually Sundering Glaives, guys. It gives +9 damage to armored for Mutalisks, which means they wreck Cyclones, Thors, tanks, all the things. Most Terran things that Mutas struggle with are armored, right? Other than Widow Mines. So it's a massive upgrade, but without any upgrades on the Spire, I don't think it's going to be very valid. Broodlords might be more of an option. Now keep in mind, oh, still dancing in the middle. It's kind of crazy. The siege tank here is giving it a good control though. I think Solar needs to give up on mid-center control. It needs to go around the flank a bit more maybe. But yeah, Greatest Spire is going to come in. So the Broodlord, Greatest Spire. Broodlings basically don't have a timed life. Similar to Infested Terrans, they actually just lose hit points over time. So they still effectively have a timed life. But rather than them just being at full life and then instantly popping after 20 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever, they bleed out steadily. So you'll see their hit points go down, so they become weaker and easier to kill the longer they are out. Cyclones do snipe stuff. Oh, also Broodlords have +15 versus structures. Right, I was laughing about that. I was like, do you hate planetary fortresses? Patches, aren't you a Terran player? Cyclone Alien getting a nice lock on. Hatchery's going to go down. This is an awesome dance, man. How often do we see Zerg actually able to do stuff in late game? with movement, right? Normally, Zerg has to swap to being a Protoss player at this stage. The funny thing is, even with the 1 supply Roaches, he's still getting overwhelmed by the Cyclone Hellion. Like, obviously, ByuN's out trading him right now. But I love the fact that Soul is, like, relatively competitive. And you can imagine, if he had a Burrowed Infestor pop up at any of these points to catch either side, or anything like that, and he's going to have Broodlords, which could crush this northern flank, depending on where those Broodlords are morphing. They're a bit far out of position. You can imagine, I think that with a few adjustments, and a bit, especially if you're spreading creep on those sides with Swarm Queens, like, you can imagine, give Solar some time to cook on this mod, he's going to do some crazy stuff. By the way, did he just kill his own unit with that Siege Tank? I think he did. Anyways, Cyclone's going to run into this corner. He's got some Siege Tanks, Hellions, and Cyclones there as well. Cyclones running behind the mineral line. The Zerglings should take care of those bad boys. These Cyclones getting jumped on by the Ravagers. A little bit of friendly fire from the Siege Tanks, but not too much. Roaches do clean up the top right corner. Both players very low on money, struggling to max out. I love the action here. The Viper gets caught up front. Big mistake for Solar, leaving him out in the open. The Broodlords finally arrive, guys, and that's the real kicker. Finally, Solar gets Broodlords. For those who don't know, there was a period about 2 years ago when we were playing a lot of Site Delta, where ByuN started playing mech for the first time in a decade. And I'll tell you, he was smashing Solar and all the top Korean Zergs, all the Zergs in the world. Pretty much every game, he would get ahead with mech, start smashing them. And the moment they made Broodlords, oh, he managed to get 5 Broodlords there, guys! Massive Cyclone flank, Solar, caught in the open. No! Well, this is not going to be like those games. So what would happen years ago, right, is he'd be so far ahead. The Zergs would eventually, out of desperation, make a round of Broodlords. And you have never seen a mech player more incompetent against Broodlords than ByuN in his first month of playing mech. It was kind of funny to watch. Like, he was actually, like, kind of the best mech player in the world until Broodlords hit the field. And then he would just get absolutely annihilated. Like, he would lose 200 supply army and then another 200 supply army to 6 Broodlords. It was hilarious to watch. It was actually kind of comical. But you can see he's fixed that. The Cyclone ambush, the Vikings come in. He's way more used to dealing with it now. He's way more comfortable. And you can see the experience building over time. And I love to see that because, you know, ByuN did used to be a little bit of a one-trick pony in regards to being a hyper-aggressive bio player. But he's become a late-game god. He's become a guy who can play mech and do all sorts of things. Unfortunately for him, Solar finds his planetary down the bottom. His most important base gets taken out. He needs to land a new orbital there right now. He's going to float his main base. I feel like he should have used this one because he's only got minerals here. These are his only mining minerals. Oh my god, Solar might actually do this. That snipe is game-changing, especially with fungals and neurals available. If he goes and, like, burrows infestors in, that could be really big. Solar's going to bait a few more scans out here as ByuN cleans this up. Woo, this is very close. Army supply is way ahead for ByuN, but right now income is miles ahead for Solar, and he's got map control to a certain extent and the threat of burrowed infestors. There are no Ravens in this game. He could build them, but he's probably not used to them not needing a tech lab, so he's not thinking about it. And I think these burrowed infestors may be game-winning. Here we go, Roach Ravager, Ling coming forward. Bit of a crazy angle. Feels like Solar's just headbutting, and that's, yeah, pulling back is the right choice here. That was insane if he just kept A-moving across the map. That looked... Had a bit of a Platinum League feel to it. Watch out for the fungal though, ByuN. ByuN gets baited to the middle, but he dodges the fungal. Pulls back really nicely. Great lock-ons from the Cyclones. So many Roaches going down. Mauling Bane behind it. There's only one Siege Tank backing this up. He's got to stay just out of fungal range. That's really... Dude, his play is so good right now. And look at this. He could chase, get a few Infestors. It's well worth losing a Cyclone or two to kill an Infestor. Really worth it here. ByuN's got his new base up mining at the bottom. He's also landed a base up top, so he's got 2 bases mining. As long as he keeps Solar's attention here, he's good. Whereas a few Lings could ruin him. A few Lings on these edge bases would be absolutely disastrous. This base as well, only one tank guarding it. If you get some Lings up here, ByuN's day is going to be ruined. And this is something Solar, he now pivots with the Zerglings, but ByuN's nearby. Army comes through the middle. ByuN's going to be careful. Watch out for those fungals. Cyclone's getting caught. A few Lings get caught over there as well. This base being untouched is crazy, though. Solar's distracted up north. ByuN does not have the ability to defend an economy right now. Solar has a great economy, but ByuN temporarily has, in the most fragile and indefensible position, an economy that's almost as good right now. And actually, with the Liberator Harass, it might even be as good. Amazing Liberator Harass coming in from 2 sides. That Spore Crawler will take care of that one. Remember, Spores take a bit longer to kill Libs right now because this is 15 damage rather than 20 a shot. This is the old Spore Crawler, not the new one. This Liberator Resiege is massive distractions here for Solar. Tries to go for a link counter, but he runs into this army. You can see Cyclone Alien kiting on both sides so well. Excellent engagements here for ByuN. Solar, he's bleeding out so many units. He's down 11,000 in the resources. This Liberator, oh my lord, 19, 20 kills. It's a game-ending Liberator harass. ByuN able to sneak a base down the bottom. Solar needed to be smothering him with Zerglings. This base is almost completely mined out. If he didn't have this base, he'd not be mining for these last 2-3 minutes of this game. But with a few Liberators and a distraction, constantly skirmishing in the middle, trying to fight for Watchtower vision, so Solar, only now does he have the pressure off him enough to send the link counter. ByuN defended this base through fighting in the middle and keeping Solar occupied. The fights in the middle might have looked a little scrappy, a little sloppy even at times, but they were incredibly calculated, very smart moves. And look at this, ByuN's Liberator harass is so good. Solar does come in. He's going to deny a few mules, biling down the command center. But look at that, Infestor's caught in the open. There's too much going on right now. And 2 of those Infestors go down very quickly. The Liberator finally dies to these queens. Meanwhile, Lings are here. But look at that. ByuN realizes he's exposed. He leaves a bunch of Cyclone Aliens, so he's no longer exposed. And ByuN is mining that base on the bottom very healthily. But Neuroparasite does come in. This army could get pushed back. There's not that many aliens here. The fast bile is so effective for the Roach Ravager army, though, isn't it? It's so effective, man. Awesome play on both sides. What a fantastic match, dude. This is so sick. It's so cool to see this. I mean, for a while now, I feel like a lot of players haven't really shown up to as many of like these sort of fun tournaments like Patches and other players run. Like a lot of the 6K guys, a few of the 5.5 guys will show up, a few of the high GMs, semi-pros. To see such a good turnout to this event and see the players really engaging in the new tools in this mod is actually really cool to watch. You know, this is awesome. I think being thrown into deep waters with the new live game patch that's just been so wild and all over the place with its changes, I think it's pushed players out of their comfort zone and they're willing to hop in here and play an experimental patch on a tournament. And it's led to some amazing games. ByuN smothers the army. There's no more fungal to keep it back. Oh my god. Oh my god, he crushes Solar's army. Solar goes in with a counter on the right side. But that was a crushing fight on the south. And what an excellent series there for ByuN. Playing cross-map takes down Solar. Solar had some success with those one supply roaches for a while. I guess in hindsight, the Broodlords could have come in earlier. And getting those 5 broods caught there unsupported was a huge problem. I think you want to make your broods and just immediately like thrust through the economy of ByuN as quickly as possible. But yeah, other than that, we had faster Ravager Biles, one supply roaches, both really big for Zerg. We had, I think, a lack of creep spread. I think one of the big things, if I were to play a lot of this mod with the new changes, because I haven't played with the Malignant Creep or anything like that. I keep calling it Malignant Creep. I know it's not called that. I'm just going to call it Malignant Creep because I'm going to forget all the names. But the Swarm of Queens, if in that mid-game stage, like I said, you know, you had 10, 12 minutes, or even before that, like, look how much map control Solar has at this point. Imagine if there's a Swarm Queen here. She's just running around, poops a creep tumor, runs up here, poops a creep tumor, runs over here, poops a creep. Like, you're going to have creep dominating the sides of the maps. It's going to make it much harder for ByuN to counterattack, to chase. It's going to be easier for you to surround him. It's going to give you so much information about where he is. It's a lot of APM. It's going to be hard to get the hang of it, but it could be really good. ByuN lost a lot of workers, right? He lost a lot of bases. But hats off to him for trying to control the fights in the middle as well as he did. And actually making this such a tough match for Solar. Takes him down 2-0. Patches, awesome Patch Clash tournament today. GG, well played.